It started off as a less interesting, ugly car that money can buy. It actually tried to mimic a Citroen DS, and that meant it had the best drag coefficient in the market because Honda had set out to come up with one of the most fuel economical car. And I know right now, in this generation, it looks so beautiful, it looks so awesome, and you might mistake it for a Civic, an Accord, or the best car I've driven on this channel from Honda, which is the Honda Legend. But boys and girls, this is your 2019 Honda Insight, and it didn't always look this awesome and beautiful. And this brings me to another different problem, because after the launch of the Honda Insight, Toyota jumped onto the ship and they came up with the Toyota Prius, which has given this car a run for its money. On the first generation, they got nothing. Whereas the Honda Insight had 2 doors and a lift back, the Prius came in with extra doors. So on the second generation, they made it more permanent and dominant because Toyota took all the accolades in terms of how many units they sold, in terms of the design, in terms of how even the car looked like, until 2019, when Honda said, you know what, I know I'm bowing out in 2022, but before I do that, let me bow out like this. And the road to 200 is still on. Currently, we are at 195,000 K subs. And at this moment, please, if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscription button. Leave me a comment pale chini and tell me how you think about what you're doing right now. And also give me a like, because if you do all these 3 things, then this video can get to as many people as possible. A big shout out and thank you to Edu, is the one who owns this car. And the way Edu got it is we helped him with sourcing the car, doing a pre-purchase inspection, and just making sure that his ownership experience is awesome, if not good. Okay, so let's get to the review of the 2019 Honda Insight and get to debate. Would you rather buy this or still go for your Toyota Prius? Of course, I'll begin this review by talking about how this car is designed, okay? Traditionally, the Honda Insight and the Toyota Prius has been neck to neck in terms of how they look, how they perform in terms of fuel economy, and sometimes even the power output. But this one, this here is Honda saying, you know what, Toyota, you know, I'm now going to rule. I'm going to be the king. And if there's one type of a car or one type of a manufacturer that you guys are not paying much attention to, is actually Honda, especially when you start crossing over to the hybrid system. But before I get that, because we'll talk about that, tukifika pale kwa engine and the transmission and what actually this car offers in terms of efficiency, power output, let's just have a moment and look at how this car is designed. Traditionally, these cars will copy each other, where the Honda will look at what the Prius is doing and they'll come up with a design that is similar or closer. But this here is Honda breaking the bank and saying, you know what, from 2019 all the way to 2022, you're not going to look like you Prius. You're not going to have your own design. We're going to change everything all the way from the front to the rear. So this car, they decided they're going for a more car-like look and a more car-like feel, and not those liftbacks and fuel economical and drag coefficient shenanigans. So what do we get? We get a very beautiful, awesome look that mimics most of the cars on the Honda lineup, be it the Civic, be it the Accord, be it the Honda Legend. And they have this thing they do with their fog lights where they give you like 5 LED tips. You'll see these on the CRV. You'll see it on most Hondas. And I love that about them. Now, this headlight is a fully LED headlight, which is adaptive when you take corners. It had a daylight running strip that cuts across it or runs across it or runs around it, whichever word you want to use in English, just makes this car pop. And the edges and the grooves on the headlight remind you that, okay, I'm going to save you fuel, but I'm also going to kill the game when it comes to how I look. And then at the front, you get your signature Honda H language design, of course, the grille with a lot of chrome appendages to remind you that took on a luxury going on. Now, looking at this color, you might mistake it for your kawaida white. No, this is pearl. When you're ordering this car from Japan, by the way, we do a lot of shippings, and I'll bring you another special Honda next, hopefully, that we've shipped all the way from Japan. And it goes down and boils down to the legacy of what I'm speaking to you about, how good Hondas are becoming and why you need to consider Honda as your next car, okay? But that is what you get. So this is pearl. It's a very expensive paint. In case somebody scratches you, please, make sure you get a proper guy to help you paint this car. Now, coming to the side profile, this is where things get more interesting. And this time round, I'll not start at the front. I'll come all the way to the rear. You can see that slanting roof design. And normally, when you go to the Prius side, you get a lift back design, but this is not a lift back. This is actually more like an actual sedan. You can see, iko na buti ya kawaida. And I will come back to talk about the spoiler and all that. But just look at how awesome, beautiful, and interesting the design of this car is. You know, the Prius, I can't call it ugly, but I can't call it beautiful either. It's just trying to hang in there. It has this weird shape that nobody places it anywhere. But this is a car that speaks to you in terms of how it looks instantly. And you can go like, wow, I feel like I can drive that car. Of course, to bring out the look, you'll need some few aggressive touches here and there, like your side skirt and this line that cuts across, you know, gives you some sporty vibe, right? Then you have your hybrid badge that reminds you that I'm giving you epic fuel economy. Then coming down to the wheels, you get size 17 with proper, good-looking Honda alloys. And then these are part of the design of this car, by the way they look. They are designed to give you proper fuel economy. So drag resistance, wind and all that. So that is, the design is also down to the wheel. C2 body na kila kitu, okay? And then something that you need to know, let me talk about the trim level. So you can buy this car in 3 trim levels. So you can get it in an LX trim, which is the best. Then you have the EX, which is the medium. And then you have now what we call the Touring, which is the top trim. Now, this is the medium. So you get size 17. But if you go for the higher trim, then you can get size 18 as well. And something else you need to know that depending on the trim you buy, the LX and the EX have similarly close the number in terms of fuel economy. But the highest trim, which is the Touring, has slightly more in terms, it consumes slightly more in terms of fuel. And that is down to the size of the wheels and the extras that you get inside the car. So it changes the weight and all that. But we'll talk about that later on. Down with the wheels, you get disc at the front, you get disc at the rear. Of course, these brake systems here that you have are connected to the hybrid system. So they're used for regenerative braking, right? Very important to have disc at the front and disc at the rear. Suspension setup, your traditional McPherson struts mbele. Now kunyuma you have your independent mat-link suspension. Now the beauty of this car is brought to life from the rear. This is why I love it. Just look at how awesome and beautiful this car is. Tell me, why would I buy myself a Honda Insight that has a hideous looking rear or behind? See what I've done there? Look at this spoiler. I know this is not factory. It doesn't come from the factory, this. But it looks nice. If I was to buy this car, I will exactly do this. Or maybe get one that comes off this way. But this is how this car looks. Now, you have a rear taillight that is a mixture of settings. One, it has some LED in it. At the same time, you also still have your tungsten bulbs that are still in there. And it's a split tailgate, meaning one of it remains on the tailgate and the other one remains on the car when you open it. What to feel the tire boot, you understand that you have your H Honda logo and then you have your hybrid and then your Insight. Parking sensors, some chrome, an exhaust tip that is right there. It looks huge. I'm not sure whether that is aftermarket or original, but it looks like somebody added it. I think that's aftermarket, it's not original. But it adds on to the character of this car from the rear, which is awesome and good. Now let's talk about practical, because with this design, this is where things get a bit interesting. Now if you were to buy a Prius, of course you'll get slightly more boot space. I believe you'll get something around 457 liters of practical boot space. When you're buying yourself the Honda Insight, with all these nice curves and looks, and a car that mimics a proper sedan or a proper car, it doesn't have those lift-back designs, you get yourself 428 liters of practical boot space, and that is down to that pillar that is stagnant when you fold back your second row seats. Because when you buy yourself the Prius, it doesn't have that capilla there. So when you fold your seats, you get a huge space, around 1,560 something liters. This one, the manufacturer didn't provide for us the space when you fold the seats because there's a huge thing that cuts across there. However, hii ni space ya kawaida. You can see this car we brought from Edu. Iko na mambo yake pale ndani. He's a family guy, so he's carrying his stuff around there. Like this one here, ya mtoto wake. I don't know whether he rides bicycles. But you get the feeling, eh? These are perfect family, fuel economical, stylish sedan. Let's check out what is under the hood, because that's where things get interesting. What has Honda packed up under the hood, and why do I believe that that is the best combination and the best setup you can buy if you're looking for fuel economy and power as well? Now, changes were made as well to what is under the hood, just not on the exterior styling and the design. Honda actually went bananas and they did a bit of a flip when it comes to what is actually packed here. Normally, when you used to buy the second and the first gen Honda inside, you'll get it with the integrated motor assist, which is one of the best things that has ever happened in the line of hybridization of cars. It was one of the best systems, because that integrated motor assist will make sure that one thing happens. If the hybrid system dies, you still get to use your car, even though with less power. Let's see what they have here. Now, this is a newly designed hybrid system on the Honda lineup, which they call Earth Dreams Technologies. And I believe this is one of the most interesting, almost perfect series hybrid setups, being powered or being helped by a 1500cc naturally aspirated petrol engine. The same petrol engine you'll get in your Honda Jet RS. It's the same. It's just designed differently for different purposes. Like in this case, it has been tweaked for the Honda inside, because what you need to get here, what you need to achieve here is epic fuel economy. Now let me go down a bit in terms of just demystifying on how this system works. So you have your engine, and then you have two electric motors sitting next to each other but separated by a set of gears which act up as the transmission. So one electric motor is attached to the engine, which helps start the engine, because this car doesn't have a serpentine belt, it doesn't have a starter, it doesn't have even an alternator to charge the battery and all that. It's all done by this one electric motor that is attached to the engine, okay? Now, between this electric motor and the second main electric motor that drives the wheels now, which has like a proper connection to the wheels, you have a gear set with a clutch which acts up to complete the circuit, or to connect these two to give you the full power that you need when you're driving this car in sport mode, or when you want fuel economy that serves you. Then it can decouple itself using the clutch set, and you can only drive this car using the electric motor that is connected to the wheels. So now the way the engine works is the engine generates power. Even the first electric motor that is attached to the engine picks up power from generative braking. Then it saves up that energy to the battery. And the main electric motor picks the power from the battery and drives the wheels. But where you need power, electric motor 1 still picking power from the battery is connected to electric motor 2, which is connected to the engine through a clutch setup. And now you get the engine power being transferred directly to the electric motor, and the electric motor transferring now both power from the engine and from the battery down to the wheels. And that, boys and girls, is 151 horses. The Prius will only give you 121. You see what they've done there? So that is a huge difference in terms of power. So not only are you getting a sporty vibe from this, but you're still getting a powerful car that is giving you the same fuel economy numbers as a Prius. That is 22, 23, even 24. And people have reported even doing slightly above 25 kilometers on a liter, which is awesome, beautiful, bananas, interesting. Now let's talk about reliability. Between the Prius and this one, which one is more reliable? I've said over and over again. You will get two different sets of fuel economy numbers. If you drive this car in what we call the urban setup, you know, the normal city setup, you're going to get very good fuel economy numbers. And that is down to this car dominantly using the hybrid system. But when you hit the highway and you start going above speeds of 100, Now, this car or this system or Honda system optimizes you to use more of the engine power than the hybrid setup. So the fuel economy numbers will slightly drop to maybe 19, 18 kilometers to a liter. A paradigm shift from what you get if you buy yourself a Prius. Now, whereas Honda has done that to this car, the Toyota on the other side have decided if you're going highway, they're going to give you more better fuel economy numbers because they are literally using the hybrid system more than what Honda is using. Meaning in the long run, you're going to run through your battery cells when you buy the Prius than you will if you buy the Insight. Something else, this car uses your lithium ion battery. They dropped the nickel battery system that they had, and they adopted the newer, which is easier, lighter, easy to service, quite beautiful and awesome. And do you know where it is actually being stored, the battery? Under your rear seats. So those guys who are talking to me about how reliable is this car, magic inyesha, and I go through water puddles, then what happens? Honda has thought about that, and they'll put the battery higher where you sit, and they're protected quite nicely. So it means reliability in terms of water getting into the hybrid or the battery system has been taken care of. Let's check out the interior, and then we get to drive this car. Because one thing that Honda has also done with this car is spice up the interior. Let's just look at it. Let me not say much. We know that in this class, the most dominant product or the most dominant manufacturer is Mazda. They've done a good job in terms of how they lay out the interior, in terms of build quality. Hey, number last lazima ikuwe Toyota. But Honda are doing a lot in terms of just spicing it up and making it better for a budget car. Remember, this car will set you back around 2.2, 2.3 million Kenya shillings. There is plastic on the doors, but they have cushioned that plastic with leather paddings, especially where you're putting your arm at this center place, and it has been stitched, which makes it more premium. Even where you rest your hand as well, it's very nice. And then you have very huge bottle holders, which make it more interesting and good for you. Now, when it comes to the seat design, look, it's a cloth leather interior. So you have plush leather with cloth and two isofix points for either this seat and this seat as well. And then you have your drop-down armrest with two cup holders, which is interesting. Now, unlike most cars in this category, which really take away the idea that you need to have extra vents for guys who are sitting here so that you get proper air. Honda have made it possible. You have your air vents here, which you can actually shut down and activate wherever you want to. In case you don't want to get air from the front, you can shut that one down. Then you have your pockets here. On this side, no pockets, which is interesting. Now, let's talk about the most controversial thing. If you go inside this car, or the way I'm sitting right now, you will feel that you're slightly sitting higher than the guy sitting at the front. Because as I said earlier, the batteries are here. And these batteries being positioned here serve two purposes. Purpose number one, protection and insulation from water, from exterior parameters that might affect it. And number two is for balance, meaning you have your battery here, then you have your engine setup, electric motors at the front, the battery makeup. I mean, this car has been balanced well for fuel economy and even the driving dynamics on the road, cornering and all that, which is epic. But the downside is it has taken a bit of your headroom. Whereas my legroom is awesome. I'm sitting inside a Legend or an S-Class. Just look at that. But my headroom, if you're a tall guy, slightly taller than me, you'll be sitting here and your head will be touching the roofline, which is not very good. So it might not be awesome for very tall guys, but for normal standard people, plus Japanese guys and most guys in the world are 5'4", 5'6", 5'7". So wewe mtu mrefu, bro, tafuta gari ya kununua. So let's check out the front of this car and see what is so special about it, especially when you put it head to head with a Prius. Toyota. Build quality. That is something I feel Honda have done a good job in terms of setting up the Honda Insight against its competitors. In fact, the best car I would say will actually compete with this car in terms of how it feels in the interior would be maybe an Atenza, if not an Axela, because I feel an Axela is slightly smaller, but get leather, very soft premium leather with stitchings. You also get soft plastic. See kama ile ngumu ile ya Toyota. So we need to agree on that. Then that is also translated down to even the center console and the armrest as well. And this here has a very weird motion where you can adjust it for a taller person. In case I move these seats, which actually move electronically, both ways. So moving mbele, nyuma, up and down, and even just reclining electronically to also reveal your 2 cup holders and your storage compartment hapa extra, which is very huge. Naona Edu ameweka bam 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 ya mtoi. And then I was told Edu is an architect, so he has his paraphernalia ya kupima. Okay, very awesome. Very good storage, by the way. Then you have your 2 cup holders, and then a charging pad or a storage pad for your phone, where you can store there your phone while you're charging, even though, yeah, it fits quite nice for my iPhone, which is very dope and awesome. I told you about the leather seat configuration plus cloth, and these seats are bucket-like, and they tuck you in quite nicely. Even for a huge person, you won't struggle to be comfortable. Your infotainment screen here is very interesting because it comes with all your extras, Bluetooth, flash disk, you can connect there and play it. And then you also get Apple CarPlay, but you don't get Android Auto. Toyota and Honda have this thing they do where they don't actually give you Android Auto. They lean more towards Apple CarPlay, which is the exact thing you get here. So in case you're wondering why it doesn't have Android Auto, I don't know. But I reckon it must have been updated from 2021 going forward. So you might get one that gives you both, which is good. In terms of comfort features, you get heated seats at the front for both the passenger and myself as the driver. At the same time, you have dual zone climate controls. Then you can also clean your air while it comes to you. They made that provision for you, which is good and awesome. Then you have your digital instrument display that helps you control your climate, right? And then to top it up all, 2 things. One of them is this analog clock, which is very nice. I like that touch there. Honda, you've done good. And then your new signature way of shifting gears, which is electronic. It's more like shift by wire, by button. So you press buttons D, N, reverse, you pull kinyuma kidogo, and then P, you do that, which is nice. Then you have your brake hold, auto brake on, which is good. Now, driving modes, you only have 3. You have fully EV mode, because I told you this car can actually drive in fully EV, which is good. Fuel economy, kama una do, mafuta yako iko low, you can do that. Yeah, it has just activated the engine. But if I press this button, let me see if I have battery. No, I don't. It has refused to switch to EV mode. But I can also switch to sport, where I take the power from the battery, the electric motors, the engine, all combined to give me more of a sporty drive. And then I can do eco for your normal driving, which is good, which is awesome. Now, coming back to the steering, because this is where you'll be spending most of your time. It's a full leather, custom design, premium to the feel, and it's huge enough. It fits to your hands very nicely. Yeah? And then it's malfunction, of course, you get your volume adjustments here. And just like Porsche, instead of having this dial, do the volume thing, it actually changes the display of what is under the screen here. So when you want to move through or circle through your options, so your displays, this is what you use. And then you have your volume plus, volume negative, and you can also change the source of your infotainment screen by clicking on that button. Then the rest, you can also command the screen via audio. Hello, how are you? Oh, it wants to speak Japanese, so I can't do that. But you can disconnect your phone via here. And then here you get your cruise control controls. You can activate it. You can do your lane assist. You can increase the speed between you and the car in front of you, because this car actually has adaptive cruise control, which comes as a package, because this car has what we call Honda Sensing, which is a package of lane assist, lane warning when you lift off. It doesn't have correction when you're doing your lane. It doesn't have a proper steering vibration or warning, just beeps on your screen to show you that you're veering off your lane. It have front and rear collision mitigation. It has rear cross traffic alert. Very awesome packaged car in terms of just the options, in terms of safety and all that. Of course, your airbags and all that. Now, the only thing that we need to do, one more thing, I forgot. Just like most cars are doing in this class, they have given you a button to arm and disarm all those systems. So there's a button right here. If you click on that button, it actually activates those systems. If you want to turn them off, you click on that button and it turns off. Then you have your parking sensors at the front and the rear as well. And that button is here to turn it on and off as well, which is good and awesome. This steering wheel is telescopic, so it means it can come towards you. It can also tilt and go back. Perfecto. And in case you're wondering, so where is the 12-volt socket? So that you can add auxiliary charging ports for watu wenye umebeba huko nyuma kwa lift. It's hidden right behind that clock. Okay? If you ask me, That is a proper genius from Honda. I think the only thing I need to do right now is grab Mr. Mbugo and let's head out for a drive and see, does it drive like an actual car that looks like it's a sporty car? Does it drive like the way it looks? That's the question I want to answer. So Twingie, let's go drive this car. So welcome to the driving with the man.
With the man here.
Mr. Mbugo has already grown up. He's now the man. Mr. Mbugo. Najua nimefanya a lot of demystification on this car.
On this car, okay.
Yes. Unajua zilianza zikicompete na Prius. Lakini wewe na mimi najua uta underscore towards the end of your sentiments so that you tell me what you think about it. But this is a totally new car.
This is a different thing.
Yeah, like if you compare this car from the previous gen, inside, this is a totally new car. Totally new. In fact, most people wanaita hii, the most fuel economical Civic.
It's a Civic though.
Yeah.
It does look like a Civic.
Yeah, it does look like a Civic. With so many other cars as well. I think you're talking about...
I was talking about the 508.
508, I told you about the Arteon as well.
The Arteon, the vibes. There's so many.
So, kitu nataka to deal na ni the interior. Well, you are here, you see, the insight we did on the channel was among the early days of conversations.
Niko mekonda niko pale nyuma.
Nilifanyanga itu na moto
mashida ilikuwa. Actually we were watching that review before we did this.
Yes.
And tumetoka mbali.
Yeah, we've come from. So from that, what do you think is...
It's a different feel, honestly. I feel like I'm in a more luxurious car.
Spot on.
I feel like I'm in a luxury. Honda,
Yeah,
they have decided. Because you remember even the Legend.
Yes.
The Honda Legend.
Yes.
The design, the passenger feel.
Yeah.
But I feel ni kama tuko kwa Porsche ni venye si kubwa sana because the way we are separated by this center console.
Yeah.
And the build quality.
Plastic.
You need a plastic sponge so it might last for long. You have this leather stitching.
Yeah.
Unajua? Imagine how much how much?
Hii gari nimeona mostly kwa mtandao zinatoka na 2.3. Yeah. I tend to think the owner of this one pays around 2.2 there.
2.2.
Yeah.
Now imagine
so the same price
for an Axela.
For an Axela. Okay? You see, people used to hate the inside and the Prius.
I used to hate.
Even the previous gen iko very...
Unakumbuka the first gen, ile ilikuwa inakaa miguu ilikuwa inakaa Citroen DS.
Na ilikuanga 2 Really? So build quality iko sawa.
Build quality is nice.
What do you think about the sound insulation?
Funny enough, it's good.
Very good.
Unasikia na
mimi nasikia tu tires kiasi kwa mbali.
Na nijua barabara iko.
Yes.
Iko a bit rough.
Comfort top notch. Suspension feel is good.
Hey.
I've been telling guys from the beginning of this review that the car that people are not watching out for, the cars or the manufacturer that people are not paying attention to are Hondas.
And Hondas.
They'll give you a very good price point like this one, 2.2. And it will give you more because in terms of fuel economy, you compare hii na Axela, this is super top.
It's top notch.
Wacha niongee your technology because that is where the most important thing. So pale bado tuko na 1500cc ni mawashow compared to 2 electric motors.
Aziko mbele.
Yes, electric motor moja iko connected directly to the wheels. Hiyo ina drive gari. Front wheel applications. Electric motor ingine iko connected to the engine side. Na hiyo ndo ina start ukistart gari haina serpentine belt, haina starter, haina alternator. Hiyo motor ya pili, that's what is doing the rest.
It's doing everything else.
Yes, and in between now we have the transmission, which is what we call the ECVT. So hapo katikati we have a set of gears that work with the clutch pack to connect or disconnect the main motors to the engine.
Is that the same as the CRV?
Yes, it's the same setup as the CRV.
And
the same.
The new step wagons.
Yes, this one is using now a 1500cc. The CRV and the step wagon are 2 liter. But the same mechanism.
Are there versions? I think engine options is 2 liter for this.
2 liter for this? No.
You don't get 2 liter?
No.
Wow. Now imagine a 2 liter in this.
Because this car is meant for
fuel economy. That's so the whole idea of the insight.
Concept around it. Yes. So now, the way the ECVT works is there's no physical like pulley whatever CVT. But hizo gear set na hiyo clutch hiyo ndio inawaka kufanya hiyo. So hiyo clutch set na hiyo the gear system also has a fluid that you need to change occasionally. Okay. But it's one of the most reliable setup. So in terms of reliability, top notch. Tick. Now the speed we are driving this car at, we are below 100. Bogwa. So meaning we are fully utilizing the electric motor.
Hakuna mafuta tunatumia.
There is no fuel we are using. Fuel economy itabaki tu pale pale. Okay. Just the same when nilikuwa nimwambia na CRV. Tukiwa Mombasa, we're just gliding through the city, speeds of lower than 80 kilometers per hour. We're just using the electric motors. But when I flow it, when I go beyond 80 towards 90,
it's when it engages the engine.
Now engages. No, it actually engages the engine as a generator first.
So it's more of like a knee power.
Yes, there is a level to that. This is a series hybrid. So meaning the engine provides an extra power to the electric motor, and also uses it's used to charge the batteries using the second motor iko attached to the engine. Yeah, so regenerative braking na engine peke nguruma inatumika kucharge battery, and then you get your power. Yes, the engine there is a place pia your clutch pack can actually connect to the engine, and the engine can actually drive the wheels, especially when now your battery is low. So it is one of the best unique setup
like you have everything. Ukose mafuta uko na engine, ukose like it's a complete, that's why it's called a series hybrid.
Yes. Sasa uko hapa na paddle shifters. Najua hizi paddle shifters unaweza fikiria ni za kushift. No, these is a ku increase level ya regenerative braking. So unaweza fanya one paddle shift, one paddle driving. So when I'm driving like this, nikifinya ndio itaanza kufunga brake. So na increase resistance.
So it's more of like downshifting.
Yes.
In a way.
Yes, it's more like engine braking.
So that's like
I'm using the electric motors to pick up now more energy from
the braking. Yes. It's called the kinetic energy.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm picking that, and then I'm storing it to the battery and using it now to drive the car. That's where you have it.
Also, so you have sport mode.
Yes, I have sport mode. So when I have sport mode now, nikifinya hiyo, now the engine plus the electric motors now zina combine the power.
How much horsepower are you talking about?
Ina mingi sana, but iko na serious horsepower because it pushes 151.
Hey, that's better than the Excel. Compared to the Excel 1500cc. You can imagine.
Yes. So very proper.
I'm sure the torque is where now.
Of course, torque iko poa. Alafu inakupatia instant torque. So don't find 0 to 100 to confirm?
0 to 100.
Because I've talked about the rest of these other things. The feeling is good.
And also I noticed the rear. The rear is more of like a sportback feel. And at the same time, it's headroom. Unaona venye uko na headroom hapa as a passenger and you as a driver.
Yes.
Nyuma bado iko sawa. You'll think from outside hautatoshea vizuri.
No, actually kwa mtu mrefu
utastruggle.
Yes, because hapo nyuma kitu wamefanya, you know the batteries are now below the seat. So if you sit up on Yuma, you will look like you're sitting slightly up. If you compare to us now, our sitting position.
But you know what they've done, Ibra?
Yes.
They've sunken it like the Volvo 7. They've sunken it so ukiketi pale.
Yes. Unaona pale ndani iko deep.
Unaona iko deep. I think you've shown them.
Yes, but still, when you sit on it, if a tall person sits, you will see. You will see in the demo. You know, for us,
the 6'2" person.
Yeah, the ass we are good. Okay, so there we go. Very dope. I love this car. The sound system was amanga to test. Sasa tutatest aje.
Wacha. Niko na wacha.
Uko na copyright music, copyright free.
Sina copyright free ndio shida. Tutapigwa copyright, but it's a very nice music system.
Very nice.
Just very for the basic spec, like inaitwa Gathers, I think.
Yeah.
For the basic spec, if you wanna add me, I think kitu naweza fanya ni kuongeza tu kahufa kadogo hapa chini ya kiti. Under seat just to balance the base of it.
Yes.
And it's perfect. In terms of safety, how is it?
5-star rated. As always.
5-star rated. So you have A pillars, curtains, B
kila
pillars.
Kitu iko sawa my friend.
Tufanye 0 to 100.
Tufanye 0 to 100 and then tukuje tufanye summary. Yes, Mr. Bugu, are you ready for 0 to 100?
I'm ready. Draghi is ready.
Hata tuweke sport mode. Draghi iko ready?
Draghi iko ready.
Watu aka kagari kanakaa kama mkate kapite.
Ni kagani yako?
Kanaitwa sijui aka kagari gani Suzuki kitu gani? Kanaitwa Duster.
Literally.
You ready?
Na tu si mtu hard man.
Kazi. Umesikia nini hapo mwanzo?
The motor.
This thing is fast.
Imagine.
But it's screaming.
It's screaming.
And 100. You should have the number.
Yeah.
How many numbers? How many?
12.3 seconds.
12.3 seconds. Of course, the inside was not created to be a sports
It's
car.
not a sports car.
Yeah.
But we would love to put the 2 liter inside here.
Yeah.
Because I think it will fit.
No, but you see now the essence around it, as I say,
it's the fuel economy.
It's fuel economy. It's meant to be a fuel economical beast. That's what you get when you buy it. But just in case you want to go, 12 seconds is pretty awesome. Because a 2.2 diesel Axela did 12
did
seconds.
Around that. Yeah, that's true.
But the engine is screaming. Of course, it's screaming.
It's the engine screaming. It's not the gearbox.
No, there's no gearbox.
So the engine is screaming because there's no shifts. Like there's no that.
Yeah. So remember, the fixed ratio gears that is between the two electric motors is what acts as a CVT. So it is just corresponding the speed of rotation to the speed of rotation of the engine to simulate that infinite drive. Ndio unasikia engine ndani. Of course, it's not a sports car.
It's not a sports car.
So what do you think?
For me, these cars, man said these are 9, not 9.8.
9.8.
Let's say the patent was a 10 defect hapa na pale.
Yes.
But it's a great car. The feel, I'm telling you the feel. I feel like I'm in a 508, and 508 is a 4 million car. Oh, you know. Yeah. And it doesn't feel cheap at all.
Yes.
It doesn't. It looks nice. It's a head turner.
Yeah.
You know?
Because with the headlights.
With the headlights and then
super awesome.
Hapo nyuma uko na ka spoiler hapo. You know, you got the shapes, the curves.
No, you marinate.
Manze, this car, this. Manze.
Even me, I think I'll agree with you. I'll give it a 9.8 as well. And mine is simple. Breaking away from the conventional design of competing with the Prius. To come up with a totally different car like this one and having all these things packed into it. For me, that deserves a 9 plus reliability of transmission, reliability of hybrid system.
The ease of maintenance.
The ease of maintenance. At a type ya battery nye gari natumia ni fiti sana in normal lithium ion. Like it's, when you buy a hybrid Honda, you'll never go wrong. So for me, it's a 9.8 as well. 9.8 plus 9.8 ni ngapi mbugo? 29.6. Yeah.
Na mfanye service hizi hybrid batteries. Mfanye service.
Strong value for money?
Value for money.
Very nice. So let's talk about value for money, because that's where the hammer, the nail, and the coffin meet to the end of the day. Oh, I should not say the coffin. Okay, let me try the cross of even Jesus. I cannot say. Oh, okay. Let's just do value for money. So how much will this car set you back? These cars mostly will trade between anything 2 million to 2.3 million Kenya shillings, depending whether you're buying the LX, the EX, or the premium touring variant. Okay, and on the flip side, on the other side, if you're buying yourself the Prius, you relatively spend the same amount of money, maybe 2 million, 2.3 thereabout. Sometimes even 2.5, depending which one you're buying. Because the ones I've seen on the market right now for the year 2018 will set you back around 2.2, 2.3 million Kenya shillings. Why do I believe that this car is an absolute value for money and you should not consider buying yourself a Prius? Instead, you should get this one. One is the shape and the exterior design, and even what it offers in the interior. Because whereas Honda departed from that form factor of how the Prius and the former Honda Insight look like and gave you a more car looking, a more car feeling unit, Prius on the other side, they got stuck on that vibe. And so they're still giving you a very hideous looking rear. Just look at the picture. You can't compare that to this clearly. And that is reason number one. Reason number two is the reliability of what Honda offers. Top notch. The idea that you'll spend more time with your hybrid system in comparison to you driving the Prius, I believe that should be factor number two. And finally, who will actually buy this car? If you're a family guy, you're a young professional, and budget friendliness when it comes to fuel economy is something that you really have as a key factor, then this is your car. Not only will this car make you look like you own a proper car, not something that should clearly be geared towards saving fuel, like the Prius or the Aqua, this looks like a car, like you're either driving an Accord, a Civic, or even the Honda Legend. When you come or driving towards people, they're like, yeah, that huyo jamaa kona gari. Ana kagari kanajaribu kusave fuel, even though in the long run, you're still saving as much fuel as those guys. I don't know if that makes sense, but I believe this car provides a proper value position for anyone who is looking for a stylish, athletic, sporty-looking, fuel economical, reliable Honda money can buy in 2025. I've been your host, Papa Skofu, Ibrahim Tolo himself, on this midweek review on Conversations. See you on Sunday because we have another epic video dropping as well. Adios, muchachos.